I just met a lady with a chip in her hand. You know what she did? She pulled out her phone and she scanned her hand like it was an app, like it was a barcode. Not only that, guys, she told me that this is the future, that her job made her do it. Some big company, I can't say the company, guys. I'm not going to tell you the company. I can't do that. She scanned her hand. Guys, she has a chip in her hand. And she had the nerve to tell me that I'm going to have to get it soon, too. I told her, who the hell you think you're talking to, bro? I'm not getting nothing. Then she goes on talking about this digital ID things, which I know nothing about. She told me that I'm going to have to make a choice real soon. I said, I made my choice. Seems like you made yours too. Then she started talking about Sweden, how people already got chips in their hand. Entertainment purposes only. This is what she said. I don't know how true this is. I don't know who that lady is. But the fact that she had the nerve to come up to me and tell me that I'm going to have to get this too, I ain't getting nothing. I would rather go through it before I comply. Let's not forget, guys, it's starting elsewhere, but one day it's going to be right here in front of our faces. Some lady, she's here. She had it in her hand. She's working for a certain company that I cannot mention. Guys, get ready. It's about to go down.
Scientists are reporting a breakthrough that could potentially help millions of people with vision loss see again. Scientists say they have developed this eye implant and augmented reality glasses that turn video information into electrical waves sent to a patient's brain. And there are currently 38 people in the world that are taking part in this clinical trial. ABC News medical correspondent Dr. Darian Sutton has more. Wow. So, Dr. Sutton, researchers say what? It's some 84%, a large number, right, of the study's 38 participants have actually regained functional sight. That's incredible. How does this technology work?
It's incredible indeed. This is treating a very common form of vision loss, Kana, called macular degeneration. Just to understand how this disease works, it's incredibly common. Our macula is in the back of our eye. It helps us to interpret the fine images in life. If you think about your eyes as a camera, your macula is that fine point that helps you to focus, that focus point. And what happens is, as aging happens, that can be secondary to blood pressure, to smoking, or even a genetic risk, that macula becomes damaged, and that can blur or distort vision, which affects about 1 in 3 adults over the age of 75. Now, this new technology is a two-part device. One part, as you described, is an implanted microchip that is implanted in the back of the eye, Kana, as small as a sesame seed. And the second part are glasses that the patient would wear equipped with a camera. That camera transmits images wirelessly to that wireless chip, which then transmits electrical signals to the brain and helps that patient have some level of vision. Incredible. That can help patients read, that can help patients even possibly drive, recognize faces, and give true independence.
So they highlight this one patient, Dr. Sutton, one of those 38 patients who lost her ability to see some decades ago, right? They cite macular degeneration because of it. But this technology is allowing her to actually read again. So if this trial is safe, what does that mean for even someone who's considered legally blind? Would they have access to this?
Well, possibly in the future. It's estimated that nearly 20 million people have some level of macular degeneration in the United States. That balloons up to 200 million worldwide. Now, of course, this is just the initial studies or the initial testing part, what you would call, I guess, the beta phase of this type of device. But the future is bright. You know, as technology proceeds, it's very possible that the access to care can increase. So I'm providing people, again, that level of independence, improving the quality of life for millions of people.
Now to some good news, because for the first time blind patients have been able to read again thanks to a microchip implanted at the back of the eye. A surgeon at Moorfields Eye Hospital in London who led the pioneering treatment says the results are, quote, astounding. Our medical editor Fergus Walsh has been to meet Sheila, who says the treatment has changed her life.
Sheila Irwin began losing her sight more than 30 years ago and is registered blind. This is what her world looks like due to a condition called dry age-related macular degeneration, or AMD.
Is it left now? Yeah, it says now, innit? That's it, yeah.
But everything changes when Sheila, who's 70, puts on these special glasses.
They docked at Rhine Tour
She can read again
next day.
for the first time in years. So how is this possible? This tiny microchip, as thin as a human hair, was implanted under Sheila's retina. Here you can see it in position at the back of her eye.
For company.
A camera in the glasses sends a video feed via infrared beam to the chip, which is enhanced by computer. The images on the left are the camera output. Those on the right are what Sheila sees.
Tin of tar paint. Out of this world. Amazing. One happy bunny. I could have cried when I looked, because I haven't seen letters for so long, and then I lit up the word and it was overwhelming.
It's really made a tangible difference to your life.
A big difference entirely, because I read the Post, read books, do crosswords, Sudoku.
Did you ever imagine that you'd be able to read a book again?
Never. Never on your Nelly.
So yeah, I'm just checking the macula. The chip's in an excellent position.
Moorfields Eye Hospital in London played a key role in the international trial. Of 32 blind patients given the implant, 27 were able to read again using their central vision.
This is the first treatment that's been demonstrated to effectively give patients meaningful vision that they can use in their daily life, such as reading, writing. So I think this is a major advance. This is pioneering, and I think what you'll find with patients that it is life-changing.
There we go, Sheila.
Thank you.
The technology is not yet licensed or available on the NHS, but offers hope to thousands of patients with Sheila's form of dry AMD.
I'm going to turn off the lights now.
Thank you.
Yep.
H-N.
It takes concentration, but she's now able to read every letter on an eye chart. Sheila's delight at the new technology is plain to see.
Very impressive. Very good.
Macular degeneration is a really common condition that affects older adults, starting age 55 and 60. And what happens in the eye, in the retina, which is like the film in your camera that processes light signals, the macula is the very center part of the retina. And in macular degeneration, the byproducts of the visual cycle accumulate underneath the retina and cause it to break down or degenerate. And that causes gaps in the central vision, even blind spots, and sometimes even blindness in the central vision. Usually the process is bilateral, meaning it affects both eyes. Sometimes it's asymmetric, but in more advanced stages, sometimes a person can be bilaterally centrally blind, which means they would not be able to see a person's face to look at their expression, for example, to read the time on their watch, or to read a menu, to look at ingredients, to look at the labels on their medications. So it is very impactful. This is amazing technology. So the device, the Prima device, is surgically implanted underneath the retina in the area where the retina is degenerated, where there's a loss of photoreceptors. So it slides underneath. There's no cable or wire, which is very important for safety. The patient wears a pair of glasses, clear glasses with a camera mounted on it. The camera records the visual scene in front of them and converts, there's a pocket computer processor that converts those images and simplifies them into pixels. And then infrared light is shown, and that is actually how the implant is powered. It's like a little solar panel. It's powered by the infrared light. And then those little pixels or photodiodes, we call them, stimulate the overlying intact retina the way photoreceptors would. And that allows the rest of the retina to convert those electrical impulses into vision, and it's transmitted through the optic nerve back into the occipital cortex to the brain to make prosthetic vision, to restore vision. The study involved 38 patients who were implanted at 17 European sites between 2021 and 2022. And in all 38 of these patients, the implant was placed under their retina. And then we collected data. We looked at how the patients functioned with and without the camera and the device working at different time points. And so the main endpoint of the study was at 12 months after implantation, or 1 year after implantation. And remarkably, 81% of these patients improved by at least 2 lines on the eye chart. The exciting thing here is that not only could this benefit patients with macular degeneration, but also other retinal degenerations, like, for example, Stargardt disease, retinitis pigmentosa. These patients also have very little in the way of restorative therapies available to them.
Simple way to get everyone to accept the mark of the beast. Starve them out, make them homeless, and keep them sick. Oh, and as far as you talking about the EBT card holders looting stores, that's not going to happen. You see, all it takes is for one city, one store, it doesn't matter for this to happen to. The news gets out there immediately. Guess what happens? Trump sends out the military, not the National Guard. I think y'all forgetting. He got the military on standby. What we saw on these videos of they meeting, that was what they wanted us to see. But you got to remember, the camera turns off, and they had their own private conversation. Why do you think some of them stepped down and got the fuck away? Because of the news that they heard. But I'm gonna get deeper into this. You see, they need us to beg them, because martial law is going to come. Once anybody think about looting, it's going to come. You're stuck in your home. Now, all of you out there that's talking bad about the EBT card holders, thinking to yourself, yo, me and my family okay. I'm gonna be honest with you, no you're not. No you're not. One or two things are gonna happen. One, it's gonna run out eventually. Two, when ICE, National Guards, or whoever come to your home and don't think you above nobody else, that they can't come inside your home, guess what? Their mission is to make sure they make it as uncomfortable as they possibly can for you. It has to be done. Make the people beg. Cripple them. Knock them down to the ground. So then when they come out and say, well, I'll tell you what, we're going to wipe away your credit. We're going to do all of this. Make sure you eat. We got 15-minute cities, homes for all of you. But all you got to do is just take this little pinch right here, and you and your family are okay. You know what? Without a second thought, millions and millions and millions and millions of Americans are going to do it. The ones who don't do it, they're going to try to put up a fight for a minute. You're going to have many people do it. But here's the problem with it. When you're looking at your kids starving, your wife, your husband, or even your damn self starving, you're going to be like, you know what? It don't matter anyway. I'm going to die. You're going to take that mark of the beast. Get ready for it.
Hi everyone, this is Melissa May. I just wanted to come on and do a quick dream video that I had a dream last night, and it was about the mark of the beast. So I'm going to go ahead and get into that. So I had a dream that my husband and I, we were kind of at some big event. I don't know if it was like a concert or it felt like it was at a concert. So it was, you know, kind of like it was being held in a big sports arena. And so when we drove into the parking lot, I remembered seeing like a ton of cars, just a lot of cars there. So when the event was done, something had taken place in the world. A change had been made to where you could not come and go freely because you needed something in the hand to be able to come and go freely and travel. So this gentleman had come and got my husband and I, and he had taken us up to the room. And so I can remember my husband saying to this gentleman, he's like, well, you know, how long is this going to take? How long is this going to be that we're going to, you know, be in this room? And the guy looked at my husband and I, he goes, well, that depends on you and your wife. He goes, that depends if you decide to make a good decision or a bad decision. And so Jason was like, oh, okay. So anyway, this gentleman excused himself and he said, you know, I'll be right back. And he goes, when I come back, I'll be taking you to this other area where you're going to have to make a decision. So when the guy came back, he was not nice. When he had first taken us into the room, his demeanor was, it wasn't mean, or it wasn't, you know, it wasn't like a bad attitude kind of, but when he came back, his whole demeanor had changed and he was holding like, almost like this whip in his hand. And he looked at me and he goes, okay. He looked at me and said, you're first. He goes, you are first. And he goes, and if you don't listen to me and if you do not comply, you are going to get hit with this whip. And so, of course, in my mind, I'm thinking, you know, like what in the world is like going on? So I went ahead and he, you know, I followed him to this other area. And something inside of me was like, Melissa, you've got to try to find a way of escape. And so I was like, okay. So I was like, okay, Lord, you're going to have to help me. And so this guy had left me momentarily and I found like a way of escape. And I started going down these stairs to try to get on the outside of this building, this arena that we were in. And I started going down the stairs and all of a sudden the Lord said, Melissa, you need to stop. And he goes, go back up this, like 3 steps, go back up 3 steps. So I was like, yes, Lord. And so just as I had gone up 3 steps, the Lord was like instructing me, you must be very quiet. And so I did. Well, as I was doing that, a security guard walked in through the door that I was actually going to go out of, but the Lord had stopped me and gave me instructions to go back up 3 steps and then to be quiet. And so he came in and of course I was way above his like field of vision, and the security guard almost looked like he had a lot on his mind. He wasn't looking up the stairs. He was only like focused on whatever his mind was on. And the security guard actually had to, he walked over to like a desk area with like a computer sat. And then I could hear in his mind where he was like, I really have to go to the restroom. So he went to there was like a door right there where the restrooms were, and he walked in the door. And then that was when the Lord said, okay, Melissa, go out the door. So I exited out the door, made the escape, and I was headed over to this area where, I don't know, there was just, you know, some people were gathered outside. And so I walked over to this gentleman and I said, you know, I said, what was going on in there? And he goes, well, don't you know? He's like, we had to take a chip. They had to put a chip in our hand in order for us to leave the building. He goes, didn't you get one? And he's like, he goes, let me see your chip. Let me see your hand right now. And of course, you know, I didn't have one. I had escaped and I was like, oh my gosh. So I basically turned around and started running. But I had actually looked at the parking lot, and you guys, like 80% of the cars had left that parking lot. Like almost 80% of those people that were in that arena, they ended up taking the mark. And there was still about 20% of cars in there that were still parked there that obviously had not taken it. And so that was pretty much the end of the dream.